Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Just wanted to check in with everyone and talk about last week and then our week to come this week. So hopefully you're finding the class interesting thus far. Obviously our focus is on ethics, but we're going to be talking about some limited bioethics stuff, and we will go over some of that, but trying to focus on ethics for leaders. So the types of ethical challenges you'll face in a leadership role, what challenges healthcare organizations face from an ethical standpoint, and we will do some bioethics type discussion as well. So hopefully in your first, through the first week, you were able to kind of gain a general understanding of ethics, but then also do that personal ethic written assignment, which will be important and really can help to inform um, your decision-making process and also then how you would react in certain situations. So had a great discussion about the woman that recorded her physicians during surgery. Just a lot of interesting things that we've already gone over this week. So we'll hop forward to week two. I did have a student reach out and say that she couldn't see the week two assignment. I can see it, and I. So I'm not sure why it's not it wasn't visible. Hopefully I did go in and kind of I didn't really do anything but turn it off and turn it back on. That works with computers, so maybe it works in technology as well. As I think I'd mentioned to some of you, or maybe it was even in one of the announcements from last week, that I think that some things perhaps got messed up with this Blackboard shell a little bit because of um, the shift in numbers. This course was originally numbered 6120 and got moved to 6360, and there were a lot of issues leading up to leading up to the fact that you couldn't see the Blackboard shell until the day that it opened. So, or the day the class started. The Blackboard shell had been open for over a week, but so I think that perhaps that is the issue. If you still cannot see the case study assignment, please let me know. I'll at least email it out to everyone so you can see it, and I'll have to get in touch with IT to see what's up with the Blackboard shell. So this week we're going to focus on a few different things. We're going to be looking at mission, vision, and values and that impact on ethics within an organization, and then looking at things like professional codes of ethics or committees and how they can impact ethics and ethical standards in healthcare for professionals as well as in a healthcare organization. So I think that's about it. When you do, I'll remind everyone now, I think you've all had me in class before, so you're probably aware, but you'll do this group case study assignment. Then and this will be submitted by group. So, one person from group one will submit, one person from group two, one person from group three. But I also want you to do your self and peer review of your projects. So everyone reviews themselves and their peers, and you'll upload those individually, obviously, to this Dropbox here. Again, assuming you can actually see them, and if you can't, please reach out and let me know. So I did want to go over the quiz from last week. I did give back one question. It had something to do with what's the first step for a health services manager um, when examining ethical problems or something like that. And I did give that back because I know that some of you are relying on the book that's in the open library, the National Emergency Library, and until your book could come or until your book does come. And the concept that they mentioned in that particular question wasn't mentioned in the older version that's available in that emergency library. It's the fourth edition is available there, and we're on the sixth edition. So I did give that question back because it wasn't available in that reference. But otherwise, the questions that I saw were in alignment with my knowledge, but also what I was seeing in even that older version of the textbook. But if you do have questions on something other than what we discuss here, please let me know. I know a couple students had raised an issue with the quiz, and they had some questions about it. So let's take a look. So I gave that one question back. Next question, starting point for health services managers' activities and decision making is, and keep in mind, when you're doing multiple choice questions, you always want to choose the best answer. There may be more than one answer that is correct or personally correct, probably correct, partly correct, I guess is what I'm trying to say. A lot of people chose A, organization's philosophy. Yeah, that is part of the starting point, but the entire starting point is that personal ethic of the health services manager as well as the organization's philosophy. So obviously the philosophy is going to lend into the activities and decision making with regard to ethics. But also keep in mind that the health service manager's personal ethic is crucial to that manager understanding what's problematic. So I'll use an example. Let's say you have a person that is, we'll compare two people. So we'll have one person that is in charge of regulatory compliance, and that person is obviously, compliance folks are typically very honest and ethical, and the moral compass pointed all the way to the right, as far on the conservative side, very low risk taking, those types of things. So let's say an auditor comes in from an external agency, government agency, and says, hey, I'm seeing some problems in your audit, but hey, if you'll give me, a free lunch my whole week while I'm here, or if you'll give me something from the gift shop, I'll let it slide. So we're talking about the first person, the regulatory compliance person, that may say, well, no, of course not. And because that is their personal ethic. Obviously, the organization's philosophy wouldn't support bribing folks, but also their personal ethic sees that as problematic. So then flash forward to another person, same situation, overseeing this audit for whatever reason, regulatory compliance person, but their moral compass is bent more towards the left instead of the right. In that case, this auditor comes to them and says, hey, if you buy me lunch while I'm here all week, I won't ding you on any of these things on audit. If that manager's personal ethic thinks that that's okay, then they may not find that as problematic and will let it slide and will pay for the lunch or buy the stuff that the auditor's looking for. So not just the organization's philosophy, which should always support the highest level of ethical decision making, but also that manager's personal ethic. In that case, the second manager was like, yeah, sure, maybe we won't have to, we won't have any issues on this audit if I buy them that. Whereas the first manager felt that it was just inappropriate based on their own moral standing. So both of those things come into play. Next question. The first step in the ethics audit is to, so we have various things. The one that was chosen most frequently outside, the correct answer is analyze documents. But the one that was chosen most frequently was survey key constituents, and that is part of it. But the first step is to analyze key documents. Then the second step is to survey key constituents. And then the third step is to address deficiencies through education, training, those types of things. So those are the pieces. And when you think about any compliance, compliance is really, corporate compliance is really about ethics and integrity. That's really the focus of the office, the focus of what they do. A lot of times compliance folks can get mired down in doing billing and coding audits and those types of things. But when I was compliance officer, I would go out and train. The first thing I was training people on was here's the organizational approach to ethics and integrity, and here's what you need to know, and here's how we expect you to act as a professional that works in our organization. So as part of compliance, you're always auditing and monitoring, and it's not unusual to do that for ethics as well. So in this case, the first thing we want to do is, okay, let's look at our documents. Let's look at the mission, vision, and values. Let's look at our communications to the public, and our communications to our patients, and see if we're actually reflecting our ethical stance within those documents themselves. So that's really going to be our first step there. Next question. Problem solving includes the following steps or stages. And again, this one reminded you too to select the most complete answer, because some answers may have a portion of a proper answer, but not the entire thing. So our correct answer here is identifying the issue, analyzing the problem, weighing the alternatives, and then selecting the best alternative. So that was our correct answer with regard to problem solving. I think that's it. Yeah. So like I said, if you have other questions related to the quiz, you should be able to see it now. I believe I have them all set up that once the due date passes, you can go in and see it. So let me know if you have any other questions, or if for some reason you can't see the quiz, you should be able to. I'm happy to address those questions as well. This week we have, like I said, we're going to be talking about that mission, vision, values, and external things like codes of ethics. We have a discussion about codes of ethics. So depending on, I know we have nursing folks, we have, nuclear medicine folks, we have folks that work in hospitals, physician practices, all over the place. So I would suggest seeking out your code of ethics for your own personal area. So let's say you work in health IT. You might want to go out to HIMSS, HIMSS, and find their code of ethics. They're focused on health IT. Or if you're in the physician practice world, probably go out to MGMA, Medical Group Management Association, and find their code of ethics. Or if you're in nursing, obviously you can find the nursing code of ethics, etc. If you aren't currently working in any of those areas, and so you don't have one that you're personally connected to right now, think about where you want to work after graduation, and pull that the code of ethics from that organization. If you're having trouble finding one for your organization, let me know, and I can help you find that as well. Just drop me a note. And then we have our case study we already talked about, and the quiz. So I think that's about it for this week. Any questions, reach out and let me know. I'm actually out of the office right now, and we're out of the office permanently, but I'm out of Pittsburgh right now, and I will be traveling back tomorrow, but I'm available via phone or via email as well. Some of you have called me, and I'll have to go in and peek at the syllabus. You've called me on the number that I list for texting. You certainly can call me on that. I can't call you back on that number. That is a Google Voice number, so I guess I probably could call you back, but that's a Google Voice number. So if you want to call and leave a message, probably call my office phone. I do get those messages direct to my email. Or the text number. Feel free to text me on that. I will get the texts, but they don't come through to my personal cell phone. They also come through to my email. So, but if texting is easier for you than writing an email, please feel free to use that as well. But you can reach me via any of those mechanisms, but just if you call the Google Voice number, I honestly don't even know what it says when you call. I think there may be a message, but there may not be. It may give you a generic message. If so, don't be alarmed. It'll still get to me, but it's not my office phone, obviously. So that's all I've got. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thanks.